Well, that didn't work. Everything I did yesterday was for nothing. I have to peel all of this fiberglass off and start over. What's up, YouTube? Part 2 of my Yamaha SuperJet winter build. I'm going to start fiberglassing up some footholds that are going to go in the tray. So there's two types of fiberglass matting that you can find. There's this stuff, which is like a weave. You can find them at like hardware stores, and I think Walmart sells small quantities of this for small patches. But this is the stuff you're looking for. I think I bought this at West Marine. You can buy it by the yard, and this is probably plenty to do the footholds that we're gonna do over here. These are the molds. Now, the way this is gonna work is I'm going to apply this paste to this side of the mold, because what's gonna happen is this is gonna become the inside once it's popped off. And this is my foothold. It'll make more sense once you see this side completely done and popped off, and then I can show you how it goes on. But you apply this paste to the mold, and it's a release. So when you're using your fiberglass and your resin, it doesn't stick to this, and you'll never get it off. It makes it a whole lot easier to pop off. This is the resin and hardener that I like to work with. There are two types of resins, and the other name is escaping me right now, but this is the one you want when you're working with fiberglass on a jet ski, because the other one will cause the fiberglass to just delaminate, and it'll stick for a little while, but then it'll just completely peel right off. It won't adhere to the fiberglass on the ski at all. So this is what you're looking for. They sell this pump kit, which pumps it out in the correct amount. Obviously, I've had this one for quite a while. I may have to unscrew that and just mix it manually, but that's okay. If you've ever worked with fiberglass before, you know that it gets really messy really quickly. I went ahead and pre-cut a bunch of pieces, different sizes, because I've got some, rounded edges in here that I'm gonna have to stuff pieces down in here and then around here. So I don't want any big long pieces to try to wrap around. Little ones will do just fine, and then I can layer them. Make sure you have some good rubber gloves, not the real thin surgical gloves. These are quite a bit thicker. They're the Venom 70% thicker. Woo! That's what she said.
That's my joke.
The next thing I need to do is clean off this mold really, really well, and then I can apply my, I guess it's just called paste. It's pretty well coated. We should be good to go. There is the first layer. You can see how that resin's all pulling up in there, and there's nothing you can really do about it. You just got to let it dry, and it makes it a stronger piece right there. Well, that didn't work. Everything I did yesterday was for nothing. I have to peel all of this fiberglass off and start over.
Emotional damage!
You should not, a day later, be able to do this. Take 2. I have the other side all sauced up, ready to go. I went ahead and ordered new pumpers for the resin and the hardener, so it will mix correctly coming out of it, and I won't have the same issue I had yesterday. While this round of fiberglass is drying, I borrowed a little buffer. Been working on the side here. I've got some area right here that was kind of not so shiny up here, and then this back corner. So I'm gonna wipe this stuff off right quick, and let's see how we did. Here it is, not bad. It is way better than what it was, thank goodness. So that part, this part here, polished out, a little bit through here. These are some scrapes and stuff. I can't really do much about that, but the nose did polish up quite nicely. All right. Yeah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. Well, I got this one split apart, and I'll just pop this off here. This one was actually really easy to get off because I made sure I put plenty of paste on there. so that it did not stick to my mold. We'll put that over here, and this is what it looks like. It has been a few days since I started glassing my footholds from the mold, and I've got them both popped out of the molds, and I went back and reinforced the back sides of them, and I just trimmed them down today. Here's where I'm at. So this is gonna be my left foot, and what I've done is made a pattern out of cardboard, which kind of basically will match the inside, and it'll make more sense once I put it on the ski and show you why I did this. But what's gonna happen is I only wanna trim away enough so that this part of it slides into the side of the hull. I don't wanna take too much material out. This pattern that I made here out of the cardboard lets me know where it's going to bond at the top, so I can trace on the inside and then work from there. So this will be the area that I'll cut out, and I'll start small and kind of chip away as needed to get these footholds to slide in. I want to try to have this foothold towards the back of the ski so that this part of it is lined up almost with this angle, so it's just on the inside where this corner is. I measured from the back side 7 inches because this was as far back as I could get it without coming off the edge of the ski. So it ended up being 7 inches to the back, and then I just duplicated it over here, 7 inches to the back right here. And then I went up 4 inches. That's really all I should need. I may trim a little bit here in the corner, but I don't need to take this entire thing out. So I'm just gonna start with this area here on both sides, and then slide in the footholds and keep test fitting them as I go, and then trim whatever until it sits flush. This was actually done on purpose. There was a tiny, a crack maybe like that big. I just threw some extra fiberglass on there, and most of this is gonna get sanded off anyway. Time to start cutting on the hull. So I'm going to start small and just kind of concentrate on this area from here down, just over to there. And we'll kind of test fit and go. Now you need to be very careful when you're cutting on this side, which would be your right side standing in the tray. As you can see, this has a little bit of an upswing to the front of it, and that is because there's an exhaust pipe that runs through the firewall and down at an angle. So when you go cutting in here and drilling into this side, you need to be very careful that you do not hit that pipe. It's gonna be kind of down in this area here. Just go very slow and then chip away the foam, and I'll show you what it looks like. Here's what it looks like just past the fiberglass. As you can see, this entire thing is filled with foam. I just used a hole saw so I could kind of get these corners a little bit rounded. I'm gonna come back with a grinder and just grind these straight lines and then pull this whole piece of fiberglass off. Now comes the fun part. I have to dig out all of this foam all the way back to the side of the ski so I can start fitting these footholds in there. This gets messy and it's really tedious work and it sucks, but the end results are gonna be totally worth it. Here we go with the first side. I've got it mostly dug out. Now, as I try to test fit my foothold, I see I've got a little bit of trimming, that I've got to do here, maybe a little bit up front right here on this corner, but that's easy stuff. So I'll get that trimmed out and then slide this in and make sure it's going to be flush. Both sides are cut out and the foam has been removed. It's messy, but here's that pipe I was telling you about. So this is your exhaust pipe that comes down and out the back. So you need to be very careful when you're cutting through and in this area, because you do not want to damage this. Here it is, all cleaned up. This thing was covered in dust and foam and all kinds of nastiness. As soon as you get your ski kind of wiped down, everything blown off and cleaned up, go in the house, take a shower, throw your clothes right in the washing machine, because there are tiny little fiberglass particles that are going to get all in your clothes, and you're going to be itching for days if you don't. Well, that's how you make footholds from a mold. You can just buy them. It's a whole lot easier. I'm a glutton for punishment, so that's why I went through this whole process. That's how you get them cut out. That's how you get the ski defoamed and your footholds placed where they need to be. In the next video, I'll show you the actual full-on installation. What I'm going to do before I start mounting these in is I'm going to make patterns inside each one of these. So when I do my HydroTurf and my padding, it's going to be a whole lot more precise and a lot easier to have those pieces already pre-cut to get glued up in here. So it's a nice, neat installation, and it's not just scrap pieces kind of tucked and thrown, you know, to fill in gaps. I want this to come out really, really nice. I'm going to spend the extra time to do that. From here, it's a matter of using my stainless screws. I'm going to pre-drill, you know, every 4 inches or so. I'm going to goop this up with some sealant all the way around. We're going to screw this in and let that cure. And then to fill all the void of the extra foam that I've taken out, I'm going to have to drill some little holes, you know, here and so on. I'm going to have to use my little foam can and stick it in there and just fill that hole inside with foam. And you'll see once it dries, it starts squirting out and it makes another mess. But there'll be a little bit of fiberglassing after that to cover those holes, maybe around the seam, definitely probably down here. You really want to make sure that this is just watertight so that no water gets in and penetrates the foam that's in here, underneath, in the side, and just taking that little extra time is going to prevent that from happening. Hopefully this is helpful for you if you're starting this project to put footholds in. Come on back for the next video. It'll be a detailed process of how I install my footholds. There's no perfect way to do it. Everybody's got their own method. I have mine, and I'll share that with you, and then you take that method and kind of tweak it to fit your needs. Thanks so much for watching. Stay hungry, stay foolish.